G'day everyone, so in this video I want to show you how I built one of the most confusing pieces of furniture I've ever made. It's basically a record player cabinet, custom built with custom dimensions. It's made out of brand new but leftover floorboards. It's American oak. It cost me about $2,000 in materials and I managed to turn it into a $4,000 piece of furniture. Now I built it with basic power tools as far as cabinet makers are concerned, so I don't have a table saw or a thickness saw or any of those specialty tools. I do probably have more power tools than the average DIYer, but they are inexpensive and you can pull off something like this with just basic power tools. Now, normally I like to bring you along and show you how I do things, show you my methods, but unfortunately there was some pretty bad hissing in the audio, which you'll be able to hear in the bloopers if you stick around to the end. So in this video it's just going to be a bit of a build process more than a tutorial. But if you do want more information on the techniques that I used, I made 3 tips and tricks videos that went along with this cabinet, and a 4th video on how to make your own sash clamps if you don't want to buy them. So, hope you enjoy, hope you learn something, and we'll get stuck into it. Alright, I finally got the main structure put together. It took me a little bit. It's a bit of a confusing design and I don't know, it just got the better of me. So I had to redo the top because it was 10 mil out somewhere and things weren't looking good and they weren't lining up end to end. So I've gotten it right. I've got all the shelves in. So now it's time to trim up all the edges. So these edges aren't lining up the way I want them to. So I'm just going to flatten all that off and then we'll be ready to cap over it. Now I'm going to be capping over the side, across here and down, and I'm going to add a few bars in between here. And that's going to be where the records sit in one spot, and that'll be kind of the display feature of it. So yeah, this thing is kicking my ass a little bit, but I'm on top of it now. And there's light at the end of the tunnel, so we'll get cracking on with finishing it off. Alright, I've cut the full width floorboards down into strips. I've got 3 strips out of each floorboard. I just wanted to get rid of this groove and cut the strips down to the width of our slabs here. That way we can cap over the edges and hide all of these joins and damages and nail holes and things like that. All of these strips are actually wider than they need to be, so I'm either going to cut them down perfectly in situations where I can't cut them down later. The ones I can cut down later, I will get roughly to the right width and then use a flush trim router bit to get it perfect, and then I can sand it and it'll be seamless after that. So I'll get this border put on, I'll start with the long pieces as always, and then I'll give it a quick sand, it'll be finished, and I'll run you through the design, and then we'll take some beauty shots of it. So we're on the home stretch now. Alright, I've just finished hand planing one of the lips off the tongue and groove section of the flooring. Now I want you to try guess and figure out why I did that and how it's going to come into play later. Alright, we finished. G'day everyone, today I'm going to be building a record player cabinet out of these second-hand. They're not second-hand, that's a lie. They are new, but they are leftover floorboards. Alright, now I've just count. Alright, it's been but I will need to nail the first few on just to get things positioned right.